work, one whole day to play. Come on, everybody, wear your roller skates today. It's Saturday, 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 it's Saturday, Saturday, it's Saturday, Saturday, it's Saturday, yeah.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Career Exploration Saturday. I'm your host, Ebony Tyler. I have real conversations with real people about real jobs. So this week, my guest is Sam Tyler. Now, me and Sam don't know for sure if we're cousins, but our families are from the same town in Richmond, Virginia. And you know what, people? Our ancestors probably were on the same plantation. But you know what? That is a whole nother podcast. So I really wanted to have Sam on so that he could share his story about working in strategic communications. But you know what? Most of it is classified. But guess what? Our conversation was still fun, and Sam still shared a lot of information. And I want you to stick around to the end so that you can hear about his health journey. It's very inspiring. All right, let's jump right in.
Good afternoon. Welcome, Sam. Welcome to Career Exploration Saturday.
Thank you, Ebony. I'm glad to be here.
So, we like to start all the conversations. Tell us about your 16-year-old self. Did you have it all together? Did you know what you wanted to be?
No, my 16-year-old self was all over the place. I was not engaged in school. How can I say this? I knew from elementary school that I had a passion for writing and that I did want to be some type of writer. But as I entered into high school, I sort of didn't worry about school, to be honest with you. I was more worried about being cool with the right crowd. I wasn't in any extracurricular activities. I did try out for soccer in 9th grade and I got cut. And so after that, I just was like, forget this. And so I didn't apply myself. No, I didn't have it together at all. And I didn't have any, at that point at 16, I was telling people I'm not going to college, which is fine. But at 16, in my opinion, you do need to have some sort of plan in the works. And college is definitely not for everyone, but you need to find some type of passion or something you can get involved with that will eventually help you earn income. Because at some point, like we all have to earn income somehow.
Right. So how did you graduated? How did you make your way to Clark Atlanta University?
All right. So I graduated. I barely graduated. And so, growing up, I came from a 2-parent household. My dad, he's actually a Tuskegee graduate. He's a veterinarian. My mom, she's an educator. She's a college graduate. And so after high school, both of them, especially my father, was like, that is not the end. So I went to a technical school, a 2-year school, and I grew up in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. So I stayed home for 2 years, got my grades together, and then after 2 years, that's when I moved to Atlanta. And so initially I wasn't at Clark Atlanta, I was actually at Georgia State. And so when I got to Georgia State, I sort of regressed, and I actually got kicked out of school for grades. I was not applying myself. So it's like I still it didn't resonate yet. And so after that, I have got all these credits. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with myself. And so I said, well, I'm going to apply to Clark Atlanta. They do let students that have been excluded from other schools, they give you a chance. And so, I wrote my letter to Clark Atlanta. I applied and they let me in. And so I thank God for Clark Atlanta because they gave me a shot. And because of Clark, I've been able to run with that and have a career. So when I hear people say that HBCUs aren't necessary, that infuriates me because they are necessary. And so I owe a great deal of gratitude for Clark Atlanta. So I finished up at Clark Atlanta, finished well at Clark Atlanta. I got a lot of a love from Clark Atlanta from my professors. It was a different experience than at Georgia State. And I've actually, during that time, I'd gone out to UCLA for summer sessions. And, you know, I had a great time out there, but there's nothing like a HBCU for African-American students, in my opinion.
Yeah, I always tell people, you know, an HBCU will turn a struggling high school student into a thriving college student, and
Yeah.
you graduate and you seem to like know yourself and be strong and be able to just conquer the world. It gives you amazing confidence,
Yeah.
confidence.
Yeah, that's what I gained from it. Just my professors. I could meet with them one-on-one. There wasn't, 20,000 students there, and you just kind of get lost with the rest of them. And so even if I was struggling, I could always go to my professor, sit down one-on-one, and they actually wanted to see me succeed. And so that just built my confidence, like you said.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you have a bachelor's degree in mass communications.
Correct.
So how do you use that today in your job?
So in my job now, I'm my title is strategic communications specialist, and so I'm actually in my field. So for the last 10 or 11 years, I have been a consultant for large federal agencies, multiple agencies. I've worked for the Federal Aviation Administration, the Department of Defense, Department of Homeland Security, NASA. I was a contractor at NASA, and through all those agencies, yes, I'm in my field. I've written speeches for government officials, and so I have used my degree like it should be.
So that's interesting because you had said in the beginning you've always was interested in writing. So
Yes.
if there's so many, it sounds like that there's different places you can go if you're interested or you have a passion for writing and you don't necessarily want to write books or write print magazines.
And at one point when I was at Clark and right after, I really had a passion for screenwriting. And so I went out to LA for a bit. I was trying to make it out there, and it's just super difficult. So I kind of had to put that to the side, and but I'm still I'm still writing. So and I enjoy my job. So when I go to work, it is work. Don't get me wrong, but it's what I enjoy doing. So that makes it a whole lot better.
I love that you said you enjoy your job because a lot of people don't enjoy their job. And I think sometimes as Black people, we don't think that we can actually, or that we deserve to have a job that we like and enjoy and make money at it.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes
agreed.
that's not afforded to us, but I think that's so powerful that you actually enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I do. It's really a blessing. And of course I have my days too where it's like, oh, but overall, yes, like I'm in my purpose as far as writing. So that's one thing that everyone needs to find sort of their purpose or their passion, and from there it'll come as far as a career.
So what kind of writing do you do all day? Or like what kind of projects are you on?
So I write speeches for government officials. We do a lot of news releases, press releases. In the past, I used to do a lot of technical writing. So when I worked for the Federal Aviation Administration, I was actually writing for aviation magazines.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. At the White House, I used to be a contractor on one of my projects, and there were a lot of briefings that went to the White House. That was when Obama was president, and I had to put that in there. But
Right.
Yeah,
You want us to know that you are not writing for this guy.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. Yeah, but a lot of so I used to do what other types of writing? So yeah, a lot of speeches though. So yeah, a lot of uh, and then there's some writing that I did as far as some of the work that I've done was some of it's classified, and I actually can't even talk about it. So
Hmm.
that's I mean, but that's pretty cool to me. So
Right.
yeah.
Like if a young person is interested in becoming a writer or strengthening their writing skills, what are some ways that you can do that?
So I actually used to keep a personal journal every day.
Mm.
I don't keep it now, which I wish I did, but it's just that's one advantage of being young. You don't have all these crazy responsibilities. Uh, but I would actually say just write in a journal every day. Um, that way you can get your thoughts out, and it doesn't necessarily have to be uh, so formatted. Like just write, and if that's what you enjoy doing, that writing could turn into poetry, which could turn into, I mean, I don't, it could turn into poetry, which for some people that turns into rapping. To, I mean, the sky's the limit. So it's so many different types of writing. I said earlier, I like screenwriting. Um, you being there in New York, there's a market for that. Uh, if you go through the right avenues and learn the methods. So I would just say just start writing. That's the best way.
Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
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 So right now, can you share a little bit with us about what project you're working on right now?
Sure. Yeah. So the project I'm working on right now is an overhaul of the Veterans Affairs. So they've been having some scheduling issues as far as scheduling veterans throughout the nation. It's just so many veterans, and the system they're currently using is old, and that system doesn't talk to the system that they were using when they were active duty at the Department of Defense. And
Mm.
so I'm working on a project now that's going to make all those healthcare records under one umbrella. And so as a communications person for that project, there are a lot of national communications that go out as far as writing for high-level government officials. There are newsletters that go out within the Veterans Affairs. There are a lot of news releases that go out
Mm-hmm.
throughout the nation. And so that's a good part of my job right now.
You know what? My dad is a veteran, and he uses the VA hospital a lot. So I feel like now when I see communication, I'm gonna look at it a little different and
Yeah.
like, I wonder if Sam wrote that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's reaching a lot of people, because I mean, if you're not a veteran, you know someone that's a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
We all know someone that's a veteran, so it's really affecting a lot of people. So I'm proud to be on that project. Whether it doesn't matter your political persuasion or not, I think that we owe veterans a lot of gratitude, just because we can go on the internet all day and talk trash because a veteran went out of their way and made it so that our country is free, as many issues as our country does have.
Right. And this project is a direct effect to the problem that happened a couple of years ago when the veterans were having a lot of problems with the backlog of
Correct.
Of appointments, right?
Yep, that's correct. Yeah, that is exactly right. So that project, that's what it came out of, and so I'm doing communications as far as updating the veterans throughout the nation on updates to the scheduling, so that their experience with scheduling is going to be a whole lot smoother moving forward.
And this work is also about policy making too, right?
Yeah, there's definitely some policy making involved. A couple of my bosses at Veterans Affairs, they were on Capitol Hill last week, in fact, having to testify in front of Congress just on updates and new policy changes. So there's policy involved, yes.
Yeah. Why? I'm wondering. You're the third person that we've had on who talk about policy, and why is it important that Black people are in policy-making positions and the decision-making spaces that affect us so much?
Yeah, to me is super important. I am, in my younger days, I was one of those that I protested the Iraq War almost 20 years ago. Protest definitely has its place, because we do need to be out on the streets as far as making our voices heard. Social media is great as far as making our voices heard, but policy, that's where the decisions are made in the room. And so it's important for us to be in the room when those decisions are made, because they directly affect us. And so as wonderful as protesting is and letting our voices be heard on social media, it's also important for us at the policy level to be involved, because if we're not in the room, then there's going to be a decision made that's going to affect us, and then we're like, well, how did that happen? And like policy is the key to me, especially now that I've been working in this government environment for over 10 years now. And policy includes everything from our environment. We've got environmental racism that affects us. That a lot of times, we'll hear the word, climate change or the environment, and sometimes we don't think that really affects us, but that affects us more than anyone. Clean drinking water, we saw what happened in Flint.
Yep.
So all that is policy.
Yeah. I think I asked all my questions. But Sam, how can we connect with you? Is there any way that, a young person who may be interested in working in communications or working in writing or have a desire to be a policymaker, is there any way that we could follow you or connect with you?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn. It's under Sam Tyler. There's several Sam Tylers, but I think if you punch my name in, and I think if you my face will come up as one of the first. I'm also on Facebook under Sam Tyler, and then I'm on Instagram as well as Mr. _plant-based.
Plant-based.
Yeah.
You've had a very interesting health journey. Do you want to share a little bit about it?
Yeah. So I've struggled on and off with my health since I left home in my early 20s. I think that happens to a lot of people. You leave home and it's like, well, there's no one there to tell you you can't eat this or that. And so, by the time I got to my mid 30s, my health had really gone downhill. I had high blood pressure. I was looking at my records the other day. I was basically a diabetic as well. 100 pounds overweight. And so my son had just been born, and this was 3 years ago. This was October of 2017. And he had just been born, and I just was like, I was at the end. I was just like, I need to make a serious change, or I will not see him, I won't see him to be 10. And so I've been reading about going plant-based. I know a couple of friends that had gone plant-based and had good results. And so overnight, I just said, I'm just going to go plant-based. And so I gave up all animal products. And within a year, I'd lost 100 pounds. High blood pressure was gone. Pre-diabetes was gone. I ran a marathon. And so it's really been transformational as far as my health. So I know that being plant-based or vegan is not for everyone, but I do encourage everyone to eat their fruit and vegetables.
How has life changed for you in the Rona?
So, I actually changed jobs during Corona. So, um, I'm at home all day now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I do enjoy working from home, but then there is a part of me that I do miss human interaction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a communicator, and so I do miss at times that face to face. But I'm just as productive at home, probably more productive now at home than going into the office. So there's definitely pros and cons.
And you've been able to keep up your healthy eating habits? Because I'm over here, I'm struggling.
Yeah, no, I've been able to keep up. This is my thing. If I don't buy it and it doesn't come into the house, then there's no option. So no, there's nothing but there's fruit and vegetables in there. So that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. I try to do that, but then every now and then I'm like, let me go to the store. So Sam, thank you so much for this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
for joining us. And folks, make sure you connect with Sam on LinkedIn.
Thank you, Ebony.
Thank you so much, Sam. So some takeaways are HBCUs will give you a chance. High school students who are struggling, perhaps it's the content and the teachers that are not resonating with you, and you just need some teachers to love up on you. Consider an HBCU. Representation matters, people, on an emotional and psychological level. 2, find your purpose and passion, and it will come to you in your career. 3, if you want to write, just write. Writing can be in any industry, not just for authors. Thank you so much, Sam. Welcome to the Liberated Success family, because we already in the Tyler family. So listen, folks, we did it. We did it, y'all. We made it to $5,000. Actually, $5,138, I believe, for our impact project. And we will be receiving a matching donation of $5,000 from a donor. So big shout out to Verda. Y'all remember Verda, the anti-racist educator, for her support and creativity with her videos. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Big shout out to Nicolette. Y'all remember Nicolette, the massage therapist? Nicolette came through with the matching donor introduction. Shout out to Liberated Success Board of Directors. Thank you to everyone who supported our Impact Project campaign. Looking forward to sharing the project success with you. So be on the lookout in the next month or two for more information for students to apply to the project. And if you find our work informative, impactful, and important, show us some love with a donation. The link is in my bio, IG, and Twitter, and it's the first comment on Facebook. And if you're listening on the podcast, you can make a donation via listener support. Our work is solely supported by your donation. So thank you so much. And folks, don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast, follow us on IG, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. I share information all the time, resources for parents, for students, high school students, college students, for educators, for job seekers. There's so much information, and we also have a repository of information on our website under resources. So, thank you for watching and listening all the way to the end. We will save ourselves. Wear your mask, wash your hands, physically distance, and all Black Lives Matter. See you next week, and Merry Christmas.
Crazy work. One